This is Johnny Wrestling, or Johnny Takeover, as my shirt says. And listen, I want you to listen. Like, we're at a ball right now. It's crazy, it's loud, it's hectic. We're in New York City, but I want you to listen to the No Holds Barred Network.
Hey guys, welcome back to the No Holds Barred Network with another episode of the Wrestle Forum Podcast. I'm your stressed out host as always, the EVP Giggles, the Heartbreak Chick, the Queen of the Indies, Tiffany. And today's special guest, I'm actually really excited about this. We've been working together for a while, so now I finally got your butt on my podcast. So this is Rob from the BobCulture Podcast. What is going on?
Hey, Tiff, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. And in the words of broken Matt Hardy, Sister Tiff, I knew you'd come.
Oh, boy. Wow. So, but anyway, guys, we're here. If you guys never watched Wrestle Forum, I know it's been a while. It's episode 10. I bring on people that I podcasted with or people that are very important to the community. Just let me know if all the sound is good on the stream as well if you're listening. So I popped in the Facebook and YouTube. So there's so many errors, but okay. I see Ray. You're so
hashtag Chop Ray.
Chop Ray, man. So, I mean, before we get into Chop Ray, why don't you tell everybody like a little bit about your podcast and, you know, so people that might not know you.
Okay, totally. So you mean a little shameless promo?
Yeah, give that shameless promo.
So I'm Rob from the BobCulture Podcast. It's actually a pop culture podcast with, I would say, about 75% to 80% wrestling at this time. But we've had a lot of great interviews. Here come the name drops: Jim Ross, Jake the Snake Roberts, Velvet Sky, Tommy Dreamer. Recently, we've even had a Ghostbuster on the show, Mr. Ernie Hudson Winston Zedmore from Ghostbusters. So that has been crazy. But yeah, we love doing everything here on the BobCulture Podcast, interviewing a lot of the great indie talent as well. We're all about that. Doing our pay-per-view prediction shows, which we always have, of course, the Queen of the Indies herself on all the time. And we do a lot of good stuff for charity as well. So honored to be here, Tiff. Thank you again. And just love what we do here on the BobCulture Podcast.
Always. I'm so glad, like I said, that, you know, it's about time that I got your butt on here because I've been doing so much with your end. So, but I'm so excited. Like, I really love turning everybody into, like, the independent scene. So I love that you already were in the independent scene. So, but I get more excited as well that I get to, you know, bring more people to promotions that I enjoy. So, yeah. And then I'm coming with you tomorrow. So actually, let's talk about that a little bit before we go into, so talk about, it's Titan, right? It's Titan's putting it in. Yes.
Titan Championship Wrestling, Broken by Design. That's tomorrow, September 12th. Shameless promos. Tickets are still available for $20. You can bring your own chair. It's in Ocean Gate, New Jersey. These guys have been kind of ahead of the curve when it came to putting on the indie shows. You know, we're in this very bizarro, weird 2020 world where we're lucky to have any sort of event these days. And they were doing drive-ins early on. They were doing socially distanced events that we're seeing a lot of other companies do now. And I know I personally am very thankful for any opportunity to go to a show. You know, everyone please wear a mask, you know, stay safe, stay distance, stay positive, like we always say here. But it's going to be a great event tomorrow night in Ocean Gate, New Jersey. We're going to see the likes of Casey Navarro. I believe there's some husbands that are going to be there as well, Mr.
Listen, you keep talking about that. We need to have the husband battle royale, right?
Yes,
and, you know,
right.
when we think about it.
Somebody book it.
Well, you know what? I have a couple of husbands in this royale tomorrow. So Akira, Gangone, Hank Flanders, like, I don't know. Like, I just, I'm excited. So get the fan.
Winner gets down on one knee with a ring for Tiff.
Oh, okay, I can't. Don't tease me. Don't tease me right now, okay? Like, it's not cool. But so I'm really looking forward to this event because I'm very big on checking out new promotions, and I know I've started like with one promotion and I decided to follow Anthony Gangone, and that's how I found a lot of promotions, and that's how I found Synergy. So I guess we could talk a little bit about Synergy because I definitely wanted to talk about that with you since it was your first time at Synergy and you got to be with me and Ray and our girl April. So what did you think?
Well, first of all, man, thank you for inviting me. I've heard about Synergy for a long time. A lot of the people that I have on the show really talk to me about Synergy as well. I think it's a goal for a lot of the indie performers as well to be on that Synergy platform and to be on Fight TV and all that. So that speaks volumes for Colin and what he's doing. And again, Tiff, I appreciate you welcoming me into your Synergy group and the hashtag Chop Ray Club, hanging out with April, kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit for me and having some great conversations with these great talents. But Colin is a fantastic human. He was a delight to have on the show, even though he straight up lied to us. But I understand living the gimmick. I understand. But a great dude. Love Colin. Love what he's doing. Love how he protects his talent. Love that he takes a lot of pride in his show and, more importantly, keeping everyone safe. I did get to review the show, shameless plug, on the popbreak.com. I'm a senior editor over there, and I love reviewing these indie shows. And so that being my first Synergy show, the bar was set very, very high, and Colin absolutely delivered, and I'm excited to see more.
I'm so excited that, again, like I said, that you came with us, and that's just only like a couple of us, like me, Ray, and April, but when mostly in New York, when we get a bunch of people together and we take over the front row, it's insanity. So I need to make that happen. I wish like more people would come to Synergy, and I get it because I mean, I'm blessed that I have a car and that I can take the drive out to Jersey. I feel like I'm in Jersey every weekend. But not everybody can take that ride out to Jersey. So I have to have you come one day. I got to find a promotion in New York when things get back to whatever the new norm is. But you have to come to New York and come see something with me where we do destruction as a group in the front row.
Uh-oh. I've seen some of it already.
It's pretty bad. I got to send you I got to send you a video on YouTube for that Wrestling for a Cause. Like we took up the whole front row and we were making signs and we were heckling the wrestlers and
Meanwhile, I'm like this. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you weren't like that. You were loving it. Like so you
great.
got like the first experience of all the heckling and all the shit that we were doing. So, like, is this something that you're used to when you go to these indie shows, or was this a completely different experience for you?
Wow, that's a great question, Tiff. And again, I appreciate you inviting me. I had a ball. It's now I'm kind of in that boat where I toe the line a little bit. First and foremost, I'm a fan. I think some of these wrestlers that come on, especially the bigger names, know that I'm such a mark, and I try not to be that way. I got to toe that line between being professional and being a fan. And some people I get really excited to talk to. Like even when I had the Ghostbuster on, I felt like I was just floating the whole time. It was amazing. But to talk to some of these big names, and this is not a shameless plug, you really got to kind of toe that line, and that's how I am kind of going to shows now. Like I always want to support the indie talent, and you know that better than anyone. They're appreciative of it. They're appreciative of the interviews, but they're appreciative of your support at the shows as well. I got to see, here come the name drops, but I saw Casey Navarro and Tasha Steeles last weekend in Atlantic City, got a picture with them. Casey has just been a huge part of this show and so good to me. During the pandemic, he checked up on me just to be a good human, like, hey, hope you and your family are well. No secret, I've been through a roller coaster this year, even before COVID, so that meant the world to me. Tasha Steeles is an absolute sweetheart. She was nice enough to come on the show. So it's really just nice to be at these shows and connect as a fan, but also as a journalist. So for me, I want to represent myself in a certain light, and I don't want to come off as a total fan. So it's a learning curve for me, I think, towing that line, but it's very important to me that I represent myself in a certain way. And I think I've towed that line fairly well. And the wrestlers are very appreciative of me having them on for interviews or reviewing their shows. A lot of times on Twitter now, I'm seeing the wrestlers legit screenshot some paragraphs that I'll write on the pop break, and that's really cool. I'm seeing that more and more where I talk about their matches, and I do like to put people over at the same time. Tiff, I keep it very, very real. So it's great to toe that line. It's great to be where I am and hopefully everyone doesn't think I'm a major mark.
Oh, I have no shame in my game. I will be that mark.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, come on. I mean, what better way was, I'm sure you were surprised, if we could talk about the whole thing, even like Charles Mason, right? Like Charles Mason came out, he came over. I like how he came out, you see the pyro going on. He goes over to the left, he takes a look, right? But he didn't see us, right? And then he comes over to the other side, and me and April are booing the hell out of him. Okay, now, remind you, he's one of my faves, and he's Alyssa husband, okay? And I love the fact that he just came right, like, your reaction, I think, was funny. I don't think you were really ready for that, we were, because when me and Ray had Colin on Indie Talks, we were joking around talking about, well, Colin told me to start rating butts of Synergy. And I was like, oh my God, I wasn't ready for this. So I said that I was going to write numbers and I was going to put them up on, when wrestlers would come out. So that's why we were writing numbers. And then we put -10 purposely for Charles Mason to piss him off. And he came over and he ripped the sign and he threw it at poor Ray. Yeah. He threw it at Ray.
I remember that. And I was just sitting there like,
but we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. I mean, we do that with a lot of shows. Again, like I said, there was one, I got to send you a video so you can watch this video and can see how wild out we got. And it was funny because I messaged a bunch of the wrestlers the next day because I was a little lit. And they were all saying to me, they're like, Tiff, like, we freaking appreciate the hell out of you that, we love.
They really do.
They do. They love it. They're like, this is what they want. Whether it's you're booing them or you're cheering them or you're heckling them, any kind of reaction, this is what they want. So, like, again, like I said, I'm sure for you it was a different kind of experience. But in reality, like, all these guys know me. Right? Like, they all know me. Like, you saw it. Like, even Lucky 13 ran over to me and he gave me the hardest high five. You were like, that looked like it hurt. And I was like, yeah.
It did look like it hurt. And you know what? Like, you hit it right on the head. They're very appreciative of any sort of reaction, whether it be boos or cheers, especially in today's climate. You see the performers on TV where they had nothing to bounce off of. Now we see AEW bringing in limited capacity. We see WWE creating the Thunderdome. We could go on and on about that, but I think it gives the performers, whether they're on an indie level or on a national TV level, to kind of bounce off of something, to have that feedback. And that was sorely missing. And I think these days more than ever, the talent are super appreciative of anything that we give to them that they can bounce off of.
And I'm sure, like, you do interviews as well as I do with the independent scene, and I'm sure they say, like, that they want this, like, they need the fans, like, it's great that they'll still be able to do some of these shows without fans, but it's really us, like, they feed off of us. They love it. Like, the heels, they'll come start fighting with you. The faces are looking for that, for those cheers. And so like I said, I'm sure you get this also on your interviews, that they say things like this, because I know with all the interviews that I've done for Under the Ropes, like, a lot of them say all this. So they are appreciative, but.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. And again, going back to our guy, Casey Navarro, anyone who's not familiar with Casey yet, please check him out. And I'm not just putting him over as a performer, and he's fantastic, just turned 21 and has gone so far. It's not a matter of if he's going to end up somewhere on TV. It's a matter of when, and it's a matter of where, as far as I'm concerned. But he has legit been on this show and said some really nice things about us and the boys here and what we do for him. Legit on his he does his Next to Be Blessed Instagram lives. He shouted us out a couple times, and not just like, hey guys, what's up, but like very like appreciative of what we've done. And it goes both ways, and you see that from the indie talent. And I'm just so happy to see, I guess I've been doing this for a couple years now, a little bit more than that, and some of these people that we've had earlier on are starting to like show up on TV. I mean, you know this story, Tiff.
Oh yeah.
Are starting to show up on TV and show up on Dark and like have a match in NXT, and it makes me so happy. Like, I feel like dreams come true. Hopefully those people, again, they're on that next level. They don't forget, everyone that helped them get there. And I'm not saying, oh, do interviews for me now. I'm not being like that at all. If I could have contributed in any way to making them feel like they could get to that next level, that's what it's all about. And I'm just happy. Like, it shows that dreams come true. And you know how much these guys want it. This is a thankless business at times. It's a circus at times. And when they make it to that next level, It means a lot to me, especially if they're good humans. Real quick, if I may, I'm going to give you a little Bob Cave tour.
Ooh.
Say hi to Charlie. Number one on my list of wives right there. But I digress. Over here, we have a lot of, next to the Jason Kidd jersey, go Nets. But anyway, we have a lot of the indie talent over here that we are supportive of and interview. You can see the Goddesses poster signed by a lot of the fantastic ladies. That's TCW as well. Shameless plug. Check out Goddesses as well. That's a great show. And then what happens is when they're on TV and they get signed or whatever it is, we'll put them over on this side with a lot of the talent over here that are on TV that, from AEW, WWE and whatnot. So I always kind of bring the pictures over when they get signed and stuff like that. So just like a little, I wouldn't say ceremony, but like a little thing we do here to support our friends. And I think I've heard some things about some of our friends or pals or people we're cool with. And I think we're going to be moving some stuff from this side to this side, and just congratulations. I'm so happy for everybody.
It's so huge. Kyle's in chat. He goes, I got the same Gargano sign I got from TakeOver.
Yeah, it's legit. You know the deal. Which one, the Iron Man one or the it has to be the Iron Man if you were at New York.
Yeah,
I'm so
he
mad
came
I
to
didn't
New
go
York.
that show. Nunez was there. He gave that to me. Shout to Adventures with Bailey's for making those signs. What up, Kyle?
Yeah, so it's funny how we were talking about that because Kyle came to New York that week. I know you and me had talked about that, but he came down. It was the first time that we met, and it was nice because we got to go over to TakeOver and G1, and we went to House of Glory. So there was a bunch of things that me and Kyle are doing here coming from like New York, and it's great because that's why I say like I always love bringing new people to independent wrestling. So I have friends like on Twitter, like they're like, oh, I want to come see like the New York scene, and I'm like, it's funny because years ago I was very supportive of like a lot of the New York promotions out here, but I find myself again like I'm legit in Jersey like every weekend watching wrestling because that's where it's at. It's more Jersey than New York. So there's a lot of great promotions, but I didn't know this. I didn't know this like until, like I said, that I started following Anthony Gangone around. But
future. Jersey's a great place to be. I'm very, very blessed. When everything was going down with me early in the year, I was thinking, oh man, I had invites to live in Brooklyn. I had invites to live in Florida, and I really thought, I was going through a whirlwind. It was just a matter of, I got to reboot my whole life. And I almost went down to Florida. I almost went to Brooklyn, and obviously the pandemic hit and all that. Those were hot spots. We were a hot spot for a while. So I think I made the right choice staying in New Jersey. I'm very happy where I am. I'm very appreciative of the promoters, whether it be, got to shout out Colin, obviously, Billy, Charles, Anthony from TCW, and my boy representing Chad Minez. This show, shameless plug, does not happen without Chad. Chad has been there for us since day one, our first big interviews. I don't know why he's so good to us. He's been good to us for years. He'll bring in a major talent, and I'll say, like, hey, I want to be respectful of their contract, but are they doing interviews today? And he'll always go, for you, they will. And it's just, like, that's always the answer. And I'm so appreciative. I'm still waiting for him. If I ever have a kid, he's going to take my firstborn or something or collect. I don't know, but great dude. Shout to Chad Minez. Can I give a shameless plug right now for another show?
Of course.
So I'm terrible. The shameless. I'm so sorry. But this is an important one. Even got the card right here. Everyone watching, Val's Pals Go to War, October 3rd. Also my birthday, so if you guys want to get me something for my birthday, I would just love you to come support this great show for a great kid, Val. He has some surgeries coming up. This is going to be raising money for him and medical expenses for his family. I believe he's getting a procedure where he's essentially getting, again, I'm no doctor, something from his forearms moved to his hands so he can have mobility in his hands again. And also nonverbal, but just a huge fan of wrestling. He connects with the wrestlers, always has a big smile on his face, wears a different wrestling shirt every day. He even rocked the BobCulture podcast shirt one day, and my heart melted. So it's October 3rd in Ocean Gate, New Jersey. Standalone Wrestling putting on this show, along with the likes of TCW, Gimmick Tree Entertainment, Pro Wrestling After Dark, LTW, I think I mentioned TCW already, and we will have the likes of a Brian Cage, the FTW champion from AEW. We will have the likes of an Ace Austin, I believe, former X Division champion from Impact Wrestling. It's going to be a great show. The BobCulture Podcast is sponsoring the whole event for a great cause. Proceeds from all ticket sales go to Val and his family. Podcast, you guys can sponsor matches, and a lot of that money goes directly to the family as well. So it's a great cause. October 3rd, Ocean Gate, New Jersey. You can get your tickets now, standalonewrestling.com, or check out the event, Val's Pals Go to War, on Facebook. I'd really appreciate it. And if you guys can't come or you don't feel comfortable coming in this climate, you can also donate a seat. I would very much appreciate it.
And I will be there with Ray and April as well. So we'll be causing havoc with Rob. I think he's going to like hate me by then.
I'm excited. We're actually getting an award too at the pre-show, I think, or something like that. And I'm excited about that. Again, the event is not about us by any means, but I'm very excited to be a part of this. And I believe it's an appreciation award or something like that from Chad, which again, I appreciate him. He should be getting the award, but I very much appreciate it. At the same time, anytime I'm in that ring, I'm always looking over my shoulder. So who knows what's going to happen. I'm a little nervous, also very honored, but more importantly, everyone just come support a great cause.
I love it. I love that you're also about all the charity as well, because I'm definitely all about that. Synergy has thrown a bunch, and before the pandemic, we were supposed to plan something, and I started planning for it for the Autism Awareness Synergy show, and I have asked Colin about it, and he did tell me that it is going to run next year, so I'm definitely going to be part of that, and I'm sure hopefully Rob will come and join us with Heel Pops and Chair Shots and Queen of NE. So Ray and April will be part of it. So we're going to be raising money for that as well. So stay tuned for that. But I love, again, anything for charity. Like, I'm all over it. Like, I want to be part of it. And so I love that also about you. It's just a really great thing. So, and who doesn't love wrestling? Who doesn't love it? So I'm loving this layout. Like, I'm looking at the page and I'm like, damn, I really did good on this layout. I put two of our favorite girls, on there. That's our girls.
Absolutely.
So I was like, ooh, I love this layout. I'm getting a little bit better. So thanks Kyle, because Kyle taught me how to do all this stuff. So now, like, whenever I have a chance, like, Rob, you need something done? I was like, I got you. Like, because I like playing with the program now. So anything for me to, he's like, yeah, works for me.
I love it. And we've interviewed both those amazing ladies. Chris was on the show at a Wrestle Pro event, and she had just signed with AEW at the time, and I got to do that interview with Nunez, and it was one of those interviews where after the interview I'm like, did that go well? Like, were we just kind of on different wavelengths? And he's like, no, like, she's just like, if you have had an interview with her or seen her doing stuff on YouTube, she's very, like, I don't know if quirky's the word. She keeps it very real, but I realized she took every question, even from the intro, and turned it upside down on its head. And I go back and I listen to that interview, and I'm like, this is one of my favorite interviews because it's so different than, it's not people just like regurgitating the same old answers. She keeps it very real. We asked her, like, what are your goals in AEW? And she's very like, I don't know. Like, I don't really care about championships. I just want to make wrestling fun. I want to get people excited about wrestling again. And like, you never hear that. You just hear, I want this title. I want this. I want this person. But again, it was very interesting. And then Casey, and thank you again for making that happen. What a great human. What a sweetheart. What a talent in the ring. What a badass. Casey, what a great interview we had with her. She's fantastic. Definitely going to be wearing a lot more gold around that waist, carrying gold around the shoulders. Maybe wearing a crown. I'm just saying.
I'm waiting for that crown to go on her. Damn it, TJ Crawford. I can't stand you right now. And you even came on the podcast on mine, and like, you're just rude. Rude. I don't appreciate you, doing what you do. You came out with a bat. You knocked our girl out. I really don't appreciate it.
It was clever, though. I will give the booking and the event there. That was very clever. But again, we got to see.
I'm salty.
Background.
I'm salty. By the way, me and Kyle are absolutely going to fight over you because he said, or Rob just can come to me again.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, shout out to Kyle. He, without question, I was asking him about Twitch when we started doing the video thing, which has been going great. Obviously it's a podcast, but this is the way of the world now. So we have been doing Twitch and YouTube. And Kyle was nice enough to make me a layout. No questions asked. Just boom, done deal. And I'm very appreciative of both you guys. But for him doing that, Tiff, you've also done some great layouts for me as well. And Kyle, we got to get you on the show, man. We got to get you on for one of the predictions panels. It'll be a lot of fun, but I'm very grateful to both of you guys.
Ray said in the chat, rude to you guys. He chopped the crap out of it. He's talking about TJ Crawford.
Chop Ray. First of all, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a shirt because that's amazing that there are Chop Ray shirts. And that's kind of crazy because we go to these events and like going to the events in itself is very, very fun. But then you're like, oh, let's go see who will chop Ray. And I'm like, what? Like, oh, like these guys probably don't want to chop Ray, and Ray's like, no, I'm good. I know what to do. I know the deal. And they're like, yeah, okay. And I think at sometimes there's a line to chop Ray, and Ray has my respect. Like, I think that's why I'm going to get a Ray shirt. I'm probably going to get it signed by Ray, and we're just not worthy of Ray.
Damn it, Kyle. He said, you'll get to my level one day, young grasshopper Tiffany. You're just rude. You're just jealous of this layout. It looks beautiful. Shut up.
Age match.
He's just mad because I don't ask him to do layouts for me anymore. I just hated bothering him all the time. I'm like, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? I just felt bad. I was like, just teach me so I can stop bothering you. I'm sure he misses me asking him to make stuff for me. So, but I don't know. We'll see. But I love, like, we had our 100th episode yesterday on All Elite Podcast.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, my God. Thank you. And thank you for sending in a video for us as well. It's much appreciated. And it was a 2-hour episode and me bawling in tears. And it's a milestone. It's crazy. Like, hey, everybody's like rolling in. What's going on, Conrad? What's going on, April? So those are your friends. So, but yeah, definitely that was an experience, right? The chop Ray, like they really chopped him. Like,
oh yeah, oh, yeah. Like when Brandon Kirk got up there, I'm like, is this happening? Is this really happening? And it happened. And I again, like if I'm Ray and I'm getting chopped, I'm crying in the corner. But Ray, no problem.
He's like,
next,
whatever.
Next.
I just love it that we were like, I think. Still, like, my favorite bits were when we had like the little intermission that we had and we go by the ring and like, because I was walking around, I'm like, where are the people that I asked on Under the Ropes to chop Ray? I was like, oh, okay, here we go, let me grab this person, and I go give people a hug, and I'm like, okay, you gotta come chop Ray now? Okay, of course, so that they come over. So I like how, like you said, people are standing for Ray, like the line. So we have Eric Corvish chop him, and then we see the Whisperer. The Whisperer.
Fan of Corvus, by the way. Very, very big fan. He impressed me.
Oh,
and Whisper as well.
I love the Whisperer, and I love Eric Corvus, like huge fans. And like I always say, people that I bring on Under the Ropes are people that I truly support and I really, really, really love. And with Eric Corvus being a vet, is even more huge, and he's just a great man. And then we had
an interview. I know you've interviewed him, right? I believe, but great interview on the BCP. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then Casey's another one that I loved dearly, and she came back for a returning chop. So that happened, and I love like Brandon Kirk's like, I'm Brandon Kirk, and I'm going to chop Ray.
And then Colin with the misdirect there. That was fun.
Conrad said, let's get Ray paid. Hashtag pay Ray. I know, we're going to have to start paying Ray to take all these chops. Listen, it's part of his training, okay? Like, he's been trained as a wrestler, and he still wants to be a wrestler, and it's going to happen. So he needs to take all these practice shots. So, but I even love that Colin got in on this, too. Like... Because I remember I asked him the last show we went to, and he was like, no. And I just love that he was part of this as well. So he doesn't know, like, he didn't realize when we did the first indie talks of Chop Ray, he didn't realize all the shenanigans that was going on. We're like, Colin, can I come do stuff for the podcast? Absolutely, no problem. And he had no idea. So, like, the next day when I started posting all this footage, he's like, what the hell was going on?
Yeah, watch the videos, everybody. You'll have Ray's respect. And get the Chop Ray, shameless promo, get the Chop Ray shirts.
Seriously, go get the shirts in the No Holds Barred Network. So, yeah, Ray does have his training. And you guys are awesome. I love it. Yeah, April's at work. She said she's getting paid to watch the Queen of the Indies right here.
April, what up?
So, all right. So, this is the thing now that I do for everybody that comes on Wrestle Forum. Give me your top 5 list of wives.
Of wives?
Yeah, list of wives.
Man, that's a tough one, man. I don't know who number 1 would be.
I knew that.
Oh wow, I don't even have a list ready. This is on the fly.
This is on the fly, man. This is how we work around here.
Not really looking for any wives, to be honest. Currently in my situation, been there, done that. But I will say. Charlie Caruso, number 1, hands down. Hashtag journalist goals. Hashtag she's gorgeous. We love Charlie. Also great on First Take. Does the ESPN stuff as well. Always gotta love. You can see she's hanging out in the studio. She's sassy, but Becky, gotta love the man, Becky Lynch. Always love Trish Stratus. Definitely one of my favorites right now. Man, I got to think of a couple more. That would be a solid top 3. You're gonna have to let me think about the other ones. Definitely Charlie, number one. No question.
Yeah, definitely. I knew that about you, and I knew Becky as well. So
yeah, it's easy. I gotta think. Trish definitely.
See,
I love
it's
Trish so much.
funny because with a lot of the list, the wives, when I ask people, they don't put Trish on the list, and I'm very surprised.
Surprised too.
I'm really surprised that a lot of people do not put Trish on their list of wives.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I feel attacked.
She's fantastic. I mean, trailblazer, no question, fantastic. Now hashtag, more credit, super mom as well. That's great. She still looks fantastic, really great. And congratulations to the man over here. I'm so happy, the man becoming the mom. What a great moment that was when she made that announcement and that kind of ceremonial handing the briefcase / belt to Asuka. I thought that was good, not only in a storyline capacity, but it just like what a moment. You could see how emotional Becky was and she was going to miss the fans. And I'm just so happy for her. And she's been, I think, a good human from what I hear. And she's had a hand in helping some of the people that we've had on the show with their gimmicks or training, whatever it may be. And so I'm just so happy for Becky. Like that's one of the best things that come out of 2020, hands down.
It sucks what's happened this year, but luckily we're getting some stuff back. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I was always the one with the calendar. I think you're starting to do it now, like how I do it, that I keep a calendar of all my wrestling things. Like, it's lot.
Usually all up here, but it's getting to the point where I have to write. I mean, I literally have it in front of me right now. I'm starting to write stuff down, and I never write stuff down because I was always one of those people, like, if I make a list, I'm never going to do it. Like, I'd rather just do it, and that's how I've been. But now I literally have no choice. I got to write stuff down, and this story, Tiff, like, people are starting to approach me. The more interviews you do, people are like, oh, hey, like, can I come on and kind of talk about my story and my brand? I'm like, yeah, totally. As long as you're a good human, that's all I ask. And I'm very happy to support everybody.
That's great. Yeah, it's been, it really is something to get, we're very fortunate and it's been fun. I mean, what's been like the best part for you doing these interviews with the wrestlers?
That's a great question. There's so many answers. As far as just the interviews, the big names have been great. It's been awesome. I remember here come the name drops, but I remember it wouldn't be like Billy says, it wouldn't be a podcast with Rob unless there's name drops. But when we had Jake the Snake on, that was a huge one for us. And earlier on in the show, and I got to sit down with my best friend since we were 4 years old, and one of my closest friends. And there's no reason to have three people interview one person. There's no reason, but it worked. And it was good. And it was important to me that we all got to do it together and talk about someone that they grew up watching. I was late to the wrestling game. It wasn't until college I started watching, believe it or not. But it was so cool to kind of sit down and talk to Jake the Snake for a solid 20 minutes or whatever it was. And it was a great interview. And I just remember there was a point and again, this was earlier on, but again, you teased me for being a mark or inexperienced at the time. And I just remember waiting for the phone to ring. And I looked at the room and there was a time when all three of us were just pacing at the same time. And I'm like, what are we doing? Because you could tell we were excited and the nerves. And, now we're more experienced in talking to people of that celebrity and fame and spotlight. And but it's always really cool. But I think, the names are the names and those are great. But I think just connecting with people on that level, especially the indie talent, they're so, like you said earlier, they're so appreciative. And it's not just hey, we're doing this interview and what's this and that's that. They'll open up about stuff. They'll tell their stories and they remember you. This. They remember you as being taking the time for them and giving them that spotlight or platform. I remember, Boardwalk Beatdown a little over 2 years ago. And again, shout to Chad, Standalone Wrestling, for making that happen. Huge event in Atlantic City where I still tease Chad saying you started AEW because the talent he had there, the Bullet Club at the time, MJF, Penelope Ford, so many people you see on AEW, it's ridiculous. We call Chad like the breeder of talent, of TV talent. So I say everything he touches turns to gold. So here's hoping. But what a great guy and what a great opportunity that was. So I remember we were sitting next to who was at our table. We had Summer Rae, so that was a great one of our first really big interviews. She was fantastic. Gave us a lot of time. She was a sweetheart. And then to our left was Serpentico, and I didn't know him at the time, but he was just a cool dude. And again, this was like over 2 years ago. And we kind of talked. I'm like, would you mind doing an interview? And he's like, yeah. And he was super appreciative of that. And, I still, reach out to him and congratulate him and retweet all his stuff. And we'll see him when he comes to Jersey. He's always very cool and talks to us about retro games and his travels on AEW or AEW Dark, or him being used kind of in that way with the Inner Circle misdirect, and him and his brand being out there. That makes me so happy. And that's what it's all about. I love connecting with these people. Velvet Sky, we had a great interview with her. She was just like a sweetheart and a good human. And it's nice connecting with these people. And again, I always have to toe that line between fan and journalist, but it's really, really special. And more importantly, I love doing it with you guys. Like, I love doing it with my boys, my brothers and sisters. Like I say to you, like, Tiff, I consider you part of the show at this point. You've given so much to the show. I'm very appreciative of that. And it wouldn't be the same. Like I always say, it's not just me. It's not just like the BobCulture podcast and Rob's having big names, which I'm all about. But it's all of us. It's a family. It's brothers and sisters. We represent ourselves in a certain light, and we put people over here. And it's just a lot of give and take between us and this indie wrestling community. I'm very appreciative of that, and I think it's something very special that definitely keeps you and I going. We've seen a lot of people kind of drop out of this podcasting game lately.
Yeah.
2020 has been tough, but we've seen a lot of these great names who I think are tremendous talents in the scene for whatever reason, personal reasons, professional reasons. This can be thankless at times. We've seen a lot of people hang it up, and this platform has kept me going when times got tough. And I'm very appreciative of the wrestlers. I'm very appreciative of people like you and Bill and Mike and Nunez and Matt and Ken and everybody. I can name all the names, but thank you everybody for being a part of this, and it's very, very rewarding.
It's been fun. And two things. Conrad said, yo, I had this talk with myself about the calendar the other day. It's funny. It's because we're all pushing 40. That's what it is. So that's what it is. We're going into a new phase of our life. That's really what it is. And two,
I'm 23. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't look my age. I'm 38. I do not look 38. Like, everybody's like, no, you're lying. You're 27. I'm like, okay.
Not true.
Everybody tells me that. Ray said fish oil. And it's so funny that you talk about Jake the Snake Roberts, and I remember when I did the meet and greet with him, and it was the most funniest thing because like I went over and I kind of bent down because like he was sitting down, so I just like bent down to take the picture, and like he was like, he put his head, I gotta find this picture to show you guys, he put his head next to me, and the photographer couldn't take the picture for whatever reason, and he's like, well, I'll just stay like this all day. He was like, that's fine. I was like, damn. I was like,
oh boy, yeah, he's from a different time. Yes.
I was like, damn, but it's fun. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about your favorite meet and greet. I want to know your favorite meet and greet, like, or if you had like a funny interaction with somebody. Like, I would love to hear.
That's a good one. Like, so this isn't interviews. This is just meet and greet.
Meet and greet, just meet and greet.
I could think of a couple. Like, it stinks with like a lot of the bigger names because you feel very rushed. I'm close to iPlay.
Yeah.
Currently, iPlay Freehold, and they've had a lot of these great WWE superstar meet and greet events, and I've always been able to cover them for the Pop Break, and I'm very appreciative to iPlay for letting me be a part of that. And I remember the New Day, they were great. I mean, anyone who's met the New Day probably has a story for it. They're fantastic. They went the extra miles for the fans. But at the same time, there's so many people, hundreds and hundreds of people, that they got to boom, 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 unless you get VIP. And so when I met the Iconics, total sweethearts. I remember going up to them, and you have like a minute or two, so you want to ask a question or like, hey, I'm so-and-so. And, I would obviously love to interview them, but it's tough with the WWE talent. So I'm very appreciative of the WWE talent who have taken time for me. I'm very, very appreciative, or for anyone for that matter. But I talked to them and I'd asked, I think they had done like the Skyline. What's the tower in Toronto that's like super huge?
Oh God, but Kyle.
I can't think of it. But they walked on the outside, like with their strap to like a bungee or a harness or whatever, and they walked on the outside, and I was like, what was that like? And they were just like, I can't do the accent, but they were like both like, because they were both on either side of me, and they were just like, don't you ever do it, it was so scary. And like they were just total sweethearts, so that was really fun. And then recently, like I said, last weekend, we saw Tasha Steeles, and I almost feel bad about this, but she was rocking the Miami Heat jersey. Brother Nunez is a Mavericks fan. So I was just like making small talk. I'm like, oh, like he's a Mavs fan, whatever. She started killing him. Like she's just like, oh yeah, where are the Mavs now? And then she started doing like the sweep, like with the broom, and like she was like so much, and it was really, really funny. And I'm like, do you still want to take a picture with Nunez? And she's like, yeah. But they, her and Casey were killing us, or killing Nunez for being a Mavs fan. I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry. And we're like, no, it was all in good fun, but it makes it memorable. It makes it special. So how about you? I'm curious your favorite.
There's just too many as well. Like, I love the private party experience that I had because I was so nervous to do like meet and greets. Like now I'm so much better than where I was. So I wouldn't meet a lot of the talent. So when I finally decided, I was like, all right, we're going to go bother, Quinn and Isaiah. And at that time, that's when the whole List the Husband shirt got born. And I had the one that Kyle made with Anthony Gangone as number 1. And it was, on the shirt, Anthony Gangone. Now, me knowing, like Gangone and Quinn are friends and they've teamed up together and stuff. So I went up to them and Quinn was like, what? I was like, you like my shirt? They're like, what is this? They were like, and then Quinn grabbed my shirt and he's like, security. And he pushed me. He's like, get her out of here. So that's like one of my favorites. The Matt autograph from the Young Bucks is one of my favorites. What else? Like,
oh, I watched the video. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pinned on my Twitter account. It's like
I'm so jealous of your Johnny Gargano. Nunez and I are so jealous. What a nice dude. First of all, he should never be a heel. I won't go on my rant. He should never be a heel. But
he's the nicest guy.
Wow, that intro, which I think led us in today. Yeah. I'm super jealous. Jealous.
I think the funniest thing is I remember when I started doing Ollie podcast with Kyle, and I remember that I was gonna go see Johnny Gargano, and of course, like Johnny Gargano is like my fave, right? And he was original List of Husbands as well, and he'll always have that dear spot to me. I just love Johnny Gargano.
On my List of Husbands. I
But it was just really funny because I said to Kyle, and it was like, have you ever had a wrestler do an intro on the network before? And he's like, no. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this happen. And he didn't believe me, and Kyle never believes me. Okay, like I don't care what you say, Kyle, you can be in the chat, I don't care, you always do this to me. But he never believes anything I say, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this happen. If there's a will, there's a way. And I was so nervous to go meet him, and it was it was funny. Earlier in the day I had tweeted at him because my friend had bought me for my birthday a picture of Johnny Gargano that was on like the WWE shop, and I actually have it hung up, and I tweeted at him and I was like, oh, I'm gonna finally go meet Johnny Gargano today at Evolve, and I'm gonna have him sign this baby. So when I came up to him and I pulled it out, he was like, you tweeted at me today. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, he legit remembered like a stupid tweet from probably God knows how many people tweet at him like all the time. But he remembered that, and he was like, I'm going to sign it Tiffany Wrestling. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm marking out right now. And then I just asked him, I was like, listen, I have a wrestling podcast. I was like, I would love if you would do an intro. He's like, yeah, no problem. And he just did it. And I was like, wow.
It's tough with a lot of those WWE talent, and that shows like how cool he is. Like obviously before the pandemic, he's like, you see me and Candace like walking at Disney Springs, like please say hello, please come say hi. Like who does? Like no one else does that. Everyone's like, hey, leave us alone, which I totally respect.
Right.
You're with your family, you're on vacation,
course.
But who else says that? And he's literally said in many interviews, like he's been on the other side of the barrier. Like he was the one trying to beat the wrestlers. He's been in our shoes.
Right.
And he's appreciative of that. And I think a lot of time people get that limelight and they forget. So I think to any of the indie wrestling or up and comers right now, like remember where you were when you were a fan, and always stay humble. Always.
Yeah. And that's what I love a lot is there are a lot of humbling people. Not everybody's like that, but you definitely see it. And definitely like the Young Bucks will definitely always be high on the list with me. And that's why I said like the Matt autograph was so important to me, because of one, obviously we were doing AEW podcasts, and two, like I love Matt, and it was always true to the BTE episodes. And you know, I went back and I was like, you know, because I started watching BTE like later down the line, maybe episode 80, I think I started. So I was like, okay, if I'm doing this AEW podcast, like I need to be legit. I need to be able to go back. So I went all the way back and I binged within a week all the damn episodes. And I was loving, I mean, you guys can see it in the back. I have, you know, I brought the pops to them. And like I said, it's on my Twitter profile. And then I also, the Hershey Kisses that's back there as well. That was another part that was played with Scorpio Sky and Matt Jackson. And that was important to me too, because my best friend Brad went to Hershey with his wife and my goddaughter, and they brought me back this gigantic kiss because they knew I loved that scene in BTE where, you know, like Scorpio Sky is like going back like on a date, and that he was like, this has been the best date. He goes, you know, but what would end this? He was like, a giant kiss. And then it like zooms in and zooms back out, and then all of a sudden then you see Matt Jackson holding the Hershey kiss, and then Scorpio Sky opened it and he took a big bite. It's like so important. So I had to have this sign. And when me and Kyle went to StarCast together and we were waiting online and I was looking the other way and Kyle bust out laughing, he was like, Scorpio just saw that chocolate kiss and his eyes just lit up. Then I felt bad because I should have brought him some chocolate kisses. I'm terrible. But, you know, he's not like a list of husband, you know, like the list of husbands I kind of start bringing shit to, you know, like, I don't know.
I'm sure they are honored to be on that list.
Yeah, you know, I get shit for the list. You don't realize the really? Shit.
I'm waiting for the match.
The match.
Ladder match, whatever.
It's not happening.
Tiff on a date, whatever.
Oh my god! So who wants to like be part of this? And I'm all over this. But
she makes great cookies. Everyone listening, Tiff makes fantastic cookies. Thank you.
Well, Rob became my #1 list of podcasters. Like I make a new list every week, I swear. But I piss people off. Yeah, stop. So he's like #1 on the list of podcasters for me, and I brought him cookies. And like, see, I didn't tell him this, but I'm bringing him cookies tomorrow too. So I feel bad because I told him I was gonna make cookies because I knew he loved cookies, and I was like, but I bake. I was like, but I make from scratch. No freaking, you know, bullshit, you know, in a tube. No, I make real deal from scratch. And I'm known for this within my friends. And then all my other friends, like Ray and April, were like, well, where's mine? You know? And so I had to make bags for them too, because they were like, they're going to be in the car. They might eat the cookies. They're that good. So I made them bags, and then I made our girl Casey cookies as well. So I gave Casey Rob's bag. I felt bad because I made him.
She deserved it. No, I ate my bag, like literally driving home. Like I was like, I'll have some cookies. But they were so good. Oh my gosh, thank you, Jeff. That made my day. I'm gonna buy like an extra gallon of milk tomorrow, so I have to bake before me. Yeah,
I'm gonna make actually like after this podcast, I'm gonna go bake them. So like before I pulled out the butter, but yeah, I'm gonna make them today so that because I'm gonna be darting out like tomorrow, so I'm not gonna make them. But that's what I did last time. I made them the day before, but they were still soft, right? They were like soft as hell. Right?
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started. So I can talk about cookies all day. So good, but Tiff makes the best cookies, hands down.
Yeah, I know. Like they're talking about it in the chat. Like Conrad says, I need these cookies, and Matt's talking to me. He goes, we need a battle royale for like 15 guys of the list of husbands. He goes, I'm in it. He goes, winner gets a bag of cookies. Yes.
I was gonna say, just hang the bag of cookies at the top.
There you go. It's a ladder match for the bag of cookies.
I would be in that match. I'd probably get decimated, but there's cookies. So.
Yeah, Ray, I'm bringing you a bag too, of course. How could I bring Rob and not bring you tomorrow? So come on, you know me.
Wait, so I am going to see Ray tomorrow.
You are going to see Ray tomorrow. So I got to charge my camera. I got to do that because I have the feeling.
Butcher shop.
So yeah, I feel like Chop Ray is going to happen tomorrow. So we're going to have Steve Mack. And maybe we'll get Hank Flanders, and I don't know who else is gonna be there. We'll just see what happens. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah. So cookies tomorrow, and cookies and milk in the bank. There you go. There's the pay-per-view.
I would watch that.
Oh, Matt, you're not gonna be there. He's working tomorrow, so that's sad. I miss you guys. Like that's another one. I told Rob that he needs to come to Escape from New York. I think that's the show I want to bring him to in New York. That I really love the concept. I was talking to my best friend about this the other day, and I was like, I just love this concept that it's a bunch of teams of 4, and it's kind of like elimination. So you'll have like 4 and 4 get in the ring, and then it eliminates whoever gets eliminated. So maybe like there'll be 2, and then the other team gets completely washed out. So as it advances, those 2 people will come back and wrestle somebody else, and maybe they take out all the 4. So it's a very interesting concept. I love it. Hi, Adam. He said, all I heard was cookies. See, that's what I'm saying. So Rob, since we're talking about cookies, okay, because Adam's another one, and like I made for him M&M chocolate chip cookies because he asked me. Yeah. Oh, I feel like Rob asked me. I'm gonna have to take a walk to 7-Eleven, aren't I, to go get M&M's cookies for you tomorrow.
Don't go out of your way. I'll take any cookie. Not as big on the oatmeal raisin, especially when you mistake them for chocolate chip. That's like the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I'm all about the chocolate chip, and if you put some M&Ms in there, I'm okay with that. Or Reese's Pieces.
Oh no, I guess I'm taking a walk because I'm that girl.
No, we'll take chocolate chip.
I'm that girl, man. Like I'll go do it. So see, you have to befriend me in December. That's when you need to be like my best friend, because this is the spot you want to be at. So it's usually like the first or second week of December, mostly the second week I usually do it. And this has been a tradition for, I want to say 10 years that I've been doing, is I do Cookie Fest. And what I do is, instead of presents to my friends, I rather bake. And I spend a whole day baking cookies. And it's not just chocolate chip cookies. I make snickerdoodles. I make sugar cookies. I make butter cookies. Every year I add cookies. Last year I made a hot chocolate cookie. Ooh. So slide into those DMs.
Make sure you're good this year so you get cookies.
I'm telling you. So I did this last year. I did this last year, and I went and I was hanging out with Ray after. It was like after I baked all these cookies. I get very tired, but like it's something that I do. Like there's trays and trays of cookies in my house, and Ray and Hank Flanders came to my house, right? And I made them bags too for them to take home. But I always have like leftover in my house just for me to have, right? So I had this tray of leftover cookies, and I swear to God, I put it in the living room, and like I think most of them were gone, and then they had to take home as well. So they were like, damn, Tiff, you guys killed my Cookie Fest. Cookie Fest sounds like an indie show. Well, you know, Rob just said like he goes, we're having an indie show of all my list of husbands, and it's going to be a ladder match, and the cookies are going to be at the top.
I might just do a run-in in that match. And run up the ladder.
You cash in. You cash in with a gallon of milk. That's what you do.
I'm in. I'm excited about cookies tomorrow. Sorry.
Yes, I'm gonna. Adam's blowing up our DMs, going cookie.
Yes.
I'm dead. I can't. I love you guys. I really appreciate it. So, what I want to do, because we're getting towards our end or whatever, but I do definitely want to bring you back for an Indie Talks episode with me and Ray. And I know, because I found this out on your podcast when we did our prediction show for All Out, is that you're not really familiar with Alex Zane. And like, we're going to fight.
Yes, as Bill says, he's a snack. Yes.
Yeah, like you and I, we're going to fight because you need to know the sauce. And that's number 2 husband right there. And that's the man. Like, I need to school you in Alex Zane. He's definitely
I hear.
Yes.
So I hear.
He is a snack. Oof. Goddamn. Yeah. Oof. I need to bring him cookies.
There's so much, and I think we see this a lot on the indie scene. There's so many different indie organizations and stuff like that we see a lot of people kind of affiliated with certain brands and stuff like that. So there's so much talent out there, which is a great problem to have. And what I'm liking to see now more and more, and I do my part to do this as well. You do too, Tiff, is like to see certain performers go with other brands and be all over the place and get their name out there. So I'm really excited to see the likes of Alex Zane and other great names.
Well, I'm also looking at, like, this is what I always say, is like there is so much great talent out there, and I love that about going to different promotions, that of course, like, I'm always going to support the promotions that I support, but I also love the fact of branching out to promotions that I might not be familiar with. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday joining with you. So there's probably people that I'm not familiar with, so you can explain to me, and I love being schooled as well. well. So, I mean, of course, like we'll take pictures and videos and all that fun stuff, and maybe you'll chop Ray.
Oh no! I respect Ray. I can't chop Ray. I will shake Ray's
You
hand.
have to chop Ray.
I will buy a Ray shirt. I will eat cookies, but I will not. I can't chop Ray. I have too much respect for Ray.
Listen, we're not ending this podcast until you chop Ray.
I can't do. I don't think I could do it.
This is unacceptable.
I'll have a conversation with Ray first, but again. Now, did you chopped Ray?
I have chopped Ray, but I think it didn't really exist because it wasn't filmed. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do this tomorrow. I don't know. Sorry, Ray.
I'm gonna bring some of my recording gear tomorrow, and maybe we'll do some. Maybe you can co-host some interviews tomorrow if you're not if you don't mind doing that.
Of course.
I got some long cables, and I'll disinfect everything to make everyone comfortable. Whatever works. But there's a lot of great talent.
I would love to.
Shameless promo TCW September 12th tomorrow in Ocean Gate, New Jersey, and then there's going to be I believe, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's going to be 2 rings in a major battle royale.
Yes.
So where else you can see that?
I'll be drooling. You might have to bring a box of tissues for me over Akira. That's number.
Fine. I'll bring tissues. You bring cookies.
All right, that's cool because that's number 3 husband right there. And I actually messaged him this morning because I need his pins because they're gonna go on my little shrine back there. Because he's like one of my favorites as well. So I need to put the little. He's got the cute little Kodo dog pin. That's his dog. So I need that. He's definitely one of my favorite deathmatch wrestlers as well. So that needs to happen. And I actually, we were talking about this on the podcast with Alex Colon, that he needs to give me a light tube and sign it. I probably won't make it home. Imagine me like on the shrine with like a light tube back there, like hanging out, signed by Alex Colon, and then trying to bring it to like Akira. I'm like, can you sign this? So
real quick, what's your favorite? Not to.
No, you're good.
Here, but what's your favorite piece of memorabilia, or signed something that you have? Or it doesn't have to be signed. Like your favorite, because I know you have your shrines.
I'm kind of torn between 3 things, really. I think my favorite 3 things, and I can't. It's not in actual order. Obviously, the Funko Pops by Matt and Nick because of the Matt autograph, right? So that's definitely because that will always be a memory for me. All right. Then the other one that I have is the Anthony Gangone custom pop that was made for me from our boy Dave Cole, who does amazing pops. I love him, and he's working on an Alex Zane pop for me now. His work is incredible, and if you guys haven't watched that episode, that is an Under the Ropes episode on the channel, so please go watch it. He's spectacular. He's done the GCW for the ring. He's did the G1 at Madison Square Garden where it said G1 in the middle of the ring. So he's amazing. The details on this pop. That's why I say it's worth the money that you spend on his pops. It's so detailed. When I told him to do the Anthony one and that I wanted the gold gear that Anthony had, he was so excited to make it. And when you look at this pop, it's so detailed of all the little gold because it's sequenced Gangone's outfit for the gold gear. So he did all these little gold spots on it. It's so detailed. It's crazy. And then of course Gangone mask, because I had asked him if he was still selling these masks, and he told me he used to, but that he would make one for me. And I told him that I would give him money, and he wouldn't take my money, and he gave it to me as a Christmas present.
That's
so
special.
Yeah, and he said to me that was probably his favorite mask that he made. It was his best one, he said. So to know that he took the time to make it for me, it's very, very special to me.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I gave him cookies too.
Real quick, my favorites are some masks. Real quick, if I may.
Yes,
really quick.
yes. Let's see.
I don't know if you see the Joe Gacy mask up.
Oh yes, it's on the top in the middle, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, he's recently got some good news. Sites are reporting, so that's good to hear. So he may have to come on the other side. You could see, you can kind of see in the corner there next to Charlie in that very corner there. There's a kendo stick. That's signed by Mr. Tommy Dreamer. We got that last weekend. So that's a pretty cool item. And then just like as far as like sentimental, this NXT, I don't know if you guys can see the NXT belt here, signed by Cole and Ciampa. It needs Johnny.
It does need Johnny. I
have Johnny's autograph from like, a long time ago on a ticket, but I need it on that belt.
Yeah.
To complete that trifecta for sure, and it needs to be a big Johnny autograph. But that was passed down to me by my former father-in-law, handed down to me when everything went down, and he restoned it and all that. So it's very, very, very special to me, sentimental. And then lastly, I don't know if you guys could see it. It looks like I've hunted Rey Mysterio, but it really is just a mask. And that's signed by Rey Mysterio. My buddy had gotten me one of the lucha masks legit in Mexico. So when I met Rey Mysterio, I brought that to get signed. So that's a really cool piece. Like you said, I like the mask. That's cool.
Yeah.
The Gacy's ring worn as well, but that's like special.
Yeah. Like I'm not a collector at all. So most of the stuff that's on my shrine back there is pretty much gifts that like I've got. I think like the only thing is really like the pop I bought. And I bought the little dolls that I brought on your podcast of like Trent and Orange Cassidy.
Those are so cool.
Aren't they cool? Like I love that girl. She does like great stuff. So I'd love to buy more. I would love to see her do like indie guys, because I would definitely love to buy a couple of the indie guys in there too. But like I said, it's got to be really special for me to put it up on there. It's important things. But I think actually, since we were talking about this, I think I'm going to make this a fan tweet is, what is your favorite piece of memorabilia? So I'm really curious of like what you guys have out there. And I want to see it.
Maybe they could share a picture as well.
Yeah. Like I think I'm going to do that like after this podcast, because it's actually an interesting topic to talk about. So I really would love to see that. So, but so, I mean, we've been running for an hour I'll be with Rob tomorrow and Ray, and we'll take some footage and some cookies as well. Like I said, after this podcast, I'm going to be baking. And again, Ray, I got you. I'll bring you some cookies. So and I don't know. I feel like, if other people are listening to this podcast, they might hit me up like, well, where's my cookies? Like, I feel like I'm going to have to bring Gangone some. And so,
you might want to make some extra cookies.
Yeah, I might have to make some extra cookies. I don't know. We'll see. So, but again, please tell everybody like where they can find you if they want to find you, like shameless promo.
Shameless promo. I've never done that. Nah. Well, first, Tiff, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here on this platform. You have been killing it. You really are the queen of the indies. I'm appreciative of what you bring to the table for the BCP. I know a lot of the wrestlers are very appreciative of what you bring to the table in terms of their names and the scene and the delicious cookies as well. So thank you again for having me. Real quick, shameless promo. You can follow me at BobCulture Pod on Twitter, at the BobCulture Podcast on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. We are also on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, all that great stuff. BobCulture.podbean.com. Please reach out to me or Tiff if you do want to be featured on the show. If I may speak for you, Tiff, as well.
Of course.
My rule is kind of like I would need to see you perform first. I like to see people in action first before I interview them. Obviously, we live in a 2020 world where events are a little bit more far and few between. But I do appreciate you for having me, Tiff, and for the platform. And you are the queen of the indies. Maybe one day I will be deemed or knighted the prince or the king of the indies. I will have to prove it to the internet wrestling community and the indie wrestling community. But thank you, Tiff. I am not worthy, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
You're amazing. I can't with you. But wait, let's have this conversation. since we're talking about it. But wait, hold on. The camera's being stupid right now. Let me react. Okay, cool. So yeah, I love it that like you're like, I want to be like the prince or the king of the indies over here.
I guess I can't deem myself.
Yeah, like no, you can't deem yourself. Like, it's like, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Should I like deem him like? Maybe I have to like go through certain tiers. Maybe I have to earn it. I don't know. It's not for me to decide. What do you guys? I can only dream of being royalty like you. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. Like, should I deem him like the king or like my king of the indies or some shit like that? Like,
I'm the king of cookies, I think.
Conrad said I should knight you.
I don't know.
I feel like, it's going to have to be like a ceremony or some shit for the pod. Like, I'm going to have to like bless him with a crown or something. Like, depending on how good his chop is tomorrow. Oh.
I don't think I'm chopping Ray. I don't think I'll have to have a conversation with Ray first. I respect Ray too much. I am not a trained wrestler. I'm not qualified. I do not necessarily know if I want a video of me going around the internet smacking Ray. I just
hey, we had even McDuff chopped Ray. I mean, my dog. Yeah. Like, we even knight him with a light tube.
Nice. Yeah. Oh gosh, that'll end well.
I'm dead.
A light tube right next to my giant head.
I don't know. I might make him squirm a little bit for this. I don't know. You know what? I think we'll have this conversation with Casey when we're all together again. Maybe we'll see what she says.
Talent. I don't know, but maybe I got to put in the work. Who knows? I
don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it. And I feel like I said, if this happens, I'm gonna have to deem him on a video. So.
Why do I have a feeling I'm gonna get whacked with a light tube?
No. No, I won't. I would never do that. So, but anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe, like, share the podcast. I don't even know. Like, I'm all lost. Make sure you go buy some merch. Links are down below. You can get Queen of the Indies stuff. Yes, and come to the shows, or support. Or is this gonna be on YouTube or anything like this if they can't go to the show?
I do not know at this time. That's actually a fantastic question. There may be some sort of Facebook live stream as well. Still working out all the fine details at this point. It's a big show. Like I said, big names coming for a great family, great cause. October 3rd, Ocean Gate, New Jersey. Bounce, go to
All right, guys. Just look out for it. I'll share it as well if it's going to be live somewhere. And so look out for some footage tomorrow. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some cookies. We're going to have some chops. And yeah, so until next time, and we'll have Rob back. We're gonna school him and Alex Zane. Me and Ray. We're gonna make this happen. It's gonna be a good old time. So, but anyway, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.